am Gia Mills, and I've been a celebrity makeup artist for the past 20 years. I'm also fascinated by the power of makeup and the politics of beauty. Every week on True Reflections, I go behind the curtain and find out what your favourite celebrities really feel about their appearance when the glare of the media is upon them. So, who's with me today? Well, today, my guest has been acting. She was 13 years old, but more recently, she's been in the beauty world with her own beauty salon, The Cloud in Hayward. But today, she's here to open up about a conversation on vitiligo and her up-and-coming appearance on Cinderella at the Norwich Theatre. So please welcome to True Reflections, Georgia May Foote.
Hi, okay.
Georgia, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm so looking forward to sort of hearing about a very important cause that you're backing.
hmm
And lots of people have the same skin condition, and it's lovely to kind of give them confidence, and you being a spokesperson for it. So talk to me about the vitiligo and your journey with it.
Yeah. So mine started in 2020. I found two little spots. They were like either side of my chest here. And I
Mm.
went to the doctor and was like, "What's this? I can just see these little like white speckles." And she said, "Oh, it's tinea versicolor. You need to use anti-dandruff shampoo and wash with it, and it'll go away." So tinea versicolor is actually a fungal, I don't know, that lives on your skin. Most people have it. And when you go on holiday, it attacks the melanin. So you can get rid of it because it is just fungal. And an ingredient called ketoconazole is what kills off this like fungal that lives on your skin. I don't know if I'm speaking very good this morning. I'm a bit tired. So yeah, that's what happens. So I was trying all this anti-dandruff shampoo and everything with ketoconazole in, and nothing was working. So I was thinking, right, okay, I need to find out what this is. And then I noticed little spots on my thumb, and I thought, this seems to be somewhere else. What's going on here? So I went back to the doctor, and then I got a little bits under my armpits, and they just kept appearing in tiny little speckles. And I saw a picture of Winnie Harlow, and everywhere that Winnie Harlow had it on her is where my little spots were appearing. So I thought something's not adding up here. I don't think this is what they're saying. So I requested to see a dermatologist, and from there, as soon as I walked in, he went, "Oh yeah, you've got vitiligo." Now I was given a steroid cream. I don't want to use steroid creams on my lovely young skin that it can thin the skin. I just didn't really want to use something that could cause further problems. So I kind of went away, and I wasn't offered any other therapy for it, like phototherapy. I still haven't, I'm still waiting. I went a year ago actually and asked for that to be put forward for that, and I've still not been. Um, but it just
When did
went
it start?
wild.
When did it start? How long ago?
So it started in 2020 with those little speckles. And then obviously once I got diagnosed, I knew what I had. And then it just seemed from the diagnosis to rapidly spread. I was told it should stop after about 2 years. We're 5 years in, and I woke up this morning with another new spot that I'd seen. So every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, there's another one, there's another one. And it just seems to get more progressive all the time. It just doesn't seem to be slowing down. So yeah, that's my journey with vitiligo. I do think it's going to keep going. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
What's the cause? It's autoimmune.
It's an autoimmune disease. I do think something in 2020 might have attacked my immune system, but I have no proof behind this. It's just a bit of a theory
Yeah.
of my own.
What,
So
what
I've heard a lot of other stories behind that. It seems to be becoming more
that's something
common
to
as
do?
well.
Is it something related to something was happening around 2020?
Yes, I do think it was that. And like I said, I've heard a lot of other stories from that time as well, where there's been a big kind of relation between the two. But again, I can't suggest things because it's not necessarily been tested and proven. Um, However, yeah, I think something attacked my immune system and just caused it to go wild. Because it is an autoimmune disease. And I do have a few other things that are kind of within the autoimmune umbrella. So I think that it is to do with that. So yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, your skin's the biggest organ on your body. It's the one that gets affected the most.
Well, that's why it's so good coming onto this podcast, because we are talking, and it's not just about what's your favorite beauty product. It's a lot deeper than that, and it's how one, how our appearance, how we feel about how we look, is such a kind of important part of our sort of how, our balance as a human being, how we kind of approach life. And when something challenges that, because, you were famed wonderfully back in the day. You were FHM's like one of the sexiest women, and post pin-up girl, or right or wrong. um, and then sort of to have something challenging, how's that journey been for you to kind of get your head around it?
Yeah, I think because I obviously started when I was 8, I was so young when I started acting, and I got my first like main part when I was 12 on Grange Hill. So I've kind of been in the public eye my whole entire life. Especially from a young age, I did play the kind of like pretty little English Rose character in Grange Hill, and then, she was all very prim and proper, and like you said, the magazines and being nominated for Sexiest Female, and oh gosh, it all makes me cringe, but like it's very flattering. But when you're kind of known for the way that you look, and I say that in like quotation marks, people who aren't watching the video, um, to kind of get to an age at say 34 where you probably don't feel as self-conscious in the way that you look with your body. Like I'm the healthiest I've ever been. My body probably looks the best it's ever been because of the exercise I do. And I finally started to feel comfortable with who I am and in myself. When you then look in the mirror and that person's starting to change, you think, I was only just getting used to this. Like, I'm 34 now, and this started when I was in my late 20s, and life was changing anyway. I think when you hit 30, you do have a bit of a wobble as a woman. I think, yeah, it has been hard, especially when you are kind of judged for the way that you look and always have been since such a young age. I did find it, and I still do find it very, very difficult because I feel you kind of feel like you're letting people down, even though you're not. Like, am I letting these people down who used to like have me as their wallpapers or like, the girls who might have looked up to you for your nice skin or your nice hair or the way that you looked. Like, am I letting them down? Or I don't look like that. So it
It'll
is kind
probably,
of, I don't
it'll
know.
probably actually they'll look up to you more. I think
Yeah.
in society, when someone's too perfect, that's we don't warm to them. And when someone has when you openly, and what's so good, what you're doing is you're openly exposing a challenge, something that's happening in your life that's challenging. I think people warm so much better.
Yeah.
Perfection, you just kind of, no one wants to see perfection, which is, it's not like you have to have something wrong, let's not going right in your life to make you a likable person. It's not that. But I think you definitely would not be letting people down by having a skin condition. It's how you talk about it and how you own it and how you then say, I'm feeling more comfortable literally in my own skin. That's
Yeah.
really powerful. And that's way more, particularly with other girls, because if it is something that was caused by a certain vaccine back in the day, let's say, if there's a lot more people getting it, it's even more important that I guess, you now talking about it and making and normalizing it.
I think what's quite, I did get to a point where I remember I was on holiday and I've always been quite olive skinned. I don't really burn. I've always been someone who tans amazingly. I love getting a tan. Um, so this is crazy for me that I've got this condition where I'm not brown anymore because I'm like, no. Um, but I remember the first time I spoke about it, I was on holiday. I can't remember where I was. I think it was in Mallorca. And I burn quite bad on that holiday. And I remember thinking, God, why am I burning it? It wasn't even on the white patches. It was just my skin in general really struggled with the sun. And like I said, I was somebody who'd be on oil. I was like, obviously start off on a good factor, but I'd always wean my way to like being bronzed. So this was just really mad that this happened. And then people started commenting saying, George, you look like you've burned. And I thought, and maybe I should talk about this condition because obviously I need to learn about how to keep my skin safe now. So I might be able to get a bit more help from this as well. So I spoke about it on that holiday that I had this condition, and there was so many people reached out to me, and it really made me feel very comforted because I was new to this situation. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how I was feeling, to be honest. And then from there, yeah, I kind of kept being very open about it. I think I did a little documentary for BBC Morning Live, which was amazing. But even since then, it's spread rapidly. I didn't have it on my face on that documentary, and now I have it quite a bit on my face.
Mm.
So every day is a new challenge. Every time it goes somewhere else, it's a new challenge. And like you said, I do think that being open and telling people I'm struggling with it is really important because I'm not just going to sit here and say it's sunshine and rainbows and I feel like I'm a special person because I have this condition. Mine, you can see I'm itchy. I'm constantly itching. It irritates me. And I do struggle with a lot of the side effects of it. So, yeah, I'm just trying to be honest and open with people about it. And if it can help anybody, even one person, then that's why I've got it, I suppose.
Well, it's just when, you know, it's not the same, but, aging. So your body's changing when you're aging, and you're like, I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
Want this to stop. And, whether it's menopause, whatever happens to a woman and her body, because I guess we're very much identified and particularly historically objectified, for beauty. And when that goes, it really challenges us as women, as our, who we are, as our identity. And as one ages, unless you spend an absolute fortune trying to get all the things fixed, and even then you're not going to really fix it. You can still tell
And I think I have
it's really
realized what
fun.
even is beauty these days. Like, is beauty having no grey hair? Because grey hair is becoming more popular. Like, is beauty, people with Botox and fillers and things, it kind of ruined. You see a lot of people now dissolving their lips and stuff like that. So that was what was beautiful at the time. Beautiful, I'm saying again in quotation marks. But now it's like everyone's going back to being more natural again. Big long eyelashes were in at one point. Now people are stripping back and having them lifted, or some people are having nothing at all. Like, everything's changing constantly, and it's hard because we age and we change naturally, but some at one point being natural and aging gracefully will be probably more popular than not be than looking the youngest. So it's like you said, we're always trying to follow the trends and we're always trying to see what's right. But I think as long as you're comfortable with yourself, that's where your beauty is. And I've had
But
to learn that a lot recently.
it's not always easy. and,
Yeah, it's
and I
not.
guess yeah, exactly. And I think for you, probably it's not always easy, and but all sorts of people it's difficult. I mean, I think for Pamela Anderson, who came out in the media with her red hair and what she's doing, it's people like that, and obviously Winnie Harlow, just people who are going, this is me, and I'm accepting me. The response, I think, in the media is so powerful when that happens, and people are like,
hmm
"Oh, girl," and we're saying no, just because this is the norm of beauty and what you're supposed to look like. It's like, why does that have to be? But it is a hard thing to get your head around, and I think by you talking about it, by Winnie Harlow being someone that's talked about it, I'm sure there's lots of other well-known people as well. By you talking about your condition helps those other people to go, oh, thank God, there's someone else talking about it, and I can hear what they're going through. So you're doing a really good thing, although it probably doesn't feel like it on a daily, every single day.
Yeah. Sometimes you do have days where you wake up and just think, why have I got this condition? And then other days it really doesn't bother you and you feel quite special. People like the Vitiligo Society are really good at kind of helping us spread awareness and helping people feel more comfortable in the skin. And they've brought out little teddy bears with the vitiligo patches. Barbie have done it as well. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, you see it on kind of billboards and Superdrug and stuff. They've got their like models who are all have got vitiligo. It's being very represented. Represented, yeah, is that the right word? Around at the moment. Like one of my friends' little girls was like, "Oh, I love that. I'd like to have that when I'm older." And it's like, "Oh, okay, maybe not the autoimmune disease, but yeah, well, that's cute." It is becoming one of those things that people actually think is really pretty, and that is nice. We're not getting stared at, but there are still people who do stare. There are still people who, I've gone to get money off, give someone money in a shop, and they've like flinched, and I think, don't. But they don't know, do they? There are people like that who are still unaware of these conditions, but I will do my best to try and help anybody and make them feel like they've got something special.
so when you do decide to wear makeup, etc., you've obviously been on a journey with that and tanning. Talk to me about what products you use, what works, what doesn't, what fails you've had on the journey.
So mine obviously started on my hand, well, my chest, and then my hands. As you can see, my hands are very, very, very patchy.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at this bit. This here is all new. This only came about 3 months ago. So you
Okay.
can see it down my wrist there. It used to stop here, and now it's all down here. My elbows are.
3 months,
Gone.
gosh.
Um, I actually haven't. try to use tan. I've never really been a massive lover of fake tan because
Mm.
I'm quite brown. So when I go brown, I go like a really deep brown. Whereas tan can to me sometimes have that orangey look to it. So I don't feel like it really suits me. I have used facial tanners.
Yeah,
What's it called? Isle of Paradise.
yeah.
Quite like that one. Um, but I've done it before. I've got up in the morning and gone, oh gosh.
It can go.
Oh, it's
The
too much
new
in there.
the new ones have gone really, really orange. I help run a tan brand, a guy called Jimmy Coco. He tans the Kardashians. He's just been in Paris Fashion Week and stuff. And we're very keen to make it not orange. So you
Yeah.
can get, it's knowing which ones that can be less orange. So it can just counteract and it looks more natural because everyone's undertones are different.
Yeah.
And an orange in the UK was a sort of popular sort of undertone, colour for the UK and skin, most people's skin. But I think there are lots of brands, and Jimmy does one that's really good that is less orange.
Yeah.
So I
I have to have a
should say,
look.
if you ever need it, you don't need it. But if
Yeah.
you thought, "Oh, I want to give it a try," it's always nice to I guess to try these things out sometimes.
Well, when I was speaking to the girls from the Vitiligo Society, there was a lot of them who said, some days I actually rub the makeup off the patches. Now, I've done that a few times, especially when I'm tanned and it's more visible on my face. Because
Is it
tan,
more visible the vitiligo when you are tanned because it's
yeah,
the contrast?
yeah, the more of a contrast. So because my skin goes quite dark and then
Mm.
the patches don't tan at all, there's absolutely no melanin in them. They're pure white. So basically, people who are albino, they have no melanin. So them patches of my skin are kind of similar to that condition, if that makes sense. So
Mm.
they're completely white. So I go so dark. This is my like not tanned skin. So you can
Mm.
imagine when I get a tan, I go
Yeah,
like brown. This is
yeah,
completely white. So
yeah.
it's really hard because tan, unless I sat with a paintbrush and did every individual white patch, it's going to tan
Mm.
the brown bit and then the white bit as well. So the brown bit's always going to be darker than the white bit. So I always say to people, it's like if you try and paint a wall that's got white and brown on it, patches like a design, and you try to paint it with white, you're still going to see the brown
Yeah.
more than the white. Does that make sense? So it's kind
So it's
of
like owning it
it's
as it
going to
is.
show through. So it never completely covers it because this is too light compared to the darker bit. So when I've got a tan and I've done my makeup and like I said, you can see the patches still around my eyes. I get a cotton bud and I rub it out and I actually show the patches like around my nose. I rub it out around my eyes so you can actually see like my makeup's not patchy. I have vitiligo and then I own it then. And I actually wear it as like a bit of a it's like an accessory. Um,
A badge of honor.
yeah, like I've done some funky makeup on myself. Whereas right now, where I'm a bit paler and I put my like makeup on, you can't see it on my face this morning.
Mm.
So I don't tend to do anything about it then. So it does depend on what my t skin color is at this moment in time, what it's, where I'm going. It depends on quite a lot of different things, really.
It's so uh, reassuring and life affirming for you saying I'm just you rub out the parts so people can see that you've got the vitiligo and it's owning it
Mhm.
because again it's like wrinkles, it's whatever you've got going on, it's whether you've got a sort of rosacea or whatever. It's like I have quite bad rosacea and I don't mind it showing a little bit because it's like that is my skin
Mhm.
and trying to look too perfect. And if you wear foundation that's so heavy, it's like you can't see the person. And I think that's a really lovely thing that you're embracing that. Which foundations and stuff do you use when you do use
So I
makeup?
do love Hourglass. The Vanish concealer is actually here.
Oh,
I actually do use this. I really like this for under my eyes. I feel like it stays a lot all day. And it's a really nice colour on my vitiligo. It's not too thick and it's not too see-through either. I will say makeup's a funny one for me because I've been having my makeup done since I was God, 8 years old, 12 years old. When I don't like wearing a lot of makeup because I feel like I'm in a character.
mm-hmm.
I don't really like other people doing my makeup because I feel like I'm at work. So if I was, say, for example, on my wedding day when I got married, I had my makeup done. I had to have a trial before because I was so self-conscious of not looking like me and not feeling like me that I had to get her to do it how I would wear my makeup, how I would do my makeup. I never go and get my makeup done. Ever.
Yeah.
I hate it. And I think it's just because I feel like I'm at work and I feel like a character's about to go out on a night out, not me. So I am quite fussy with my makeup, not gonna lie.
I mean, it's good. I'm kind of the same. Because I put makeup on people, and I always kind of say, look, if you want to go into the bathroom and do a little tweak so it feels like you, because someone might ever do my makeup, and I'm like, oh, you haven't done the eyeliner, you haven't done that, and I kind of
Yeah.
know what I want to enhance. It's sometimes interesting because you see how someone else can see your face,
Yeah.
but you need to feel like yourself. Like blokes, if I ever do grooming on guys, I'm like, right, go to the bathroom, tweak your hair, because you know how men just have a slight like
Thing, yeah.
and you can't quite replicate that exactly how they do it because they look in the mirror every day and you're not looking at them every day. So it's quite a funny thing. So hourglass, and and when you do wear do you wear a tinted moisturizer or something very light
Yeah.
if you do that?
So I used to wear the Armani Neo Nude it was in like a tube, a
Mhm.
foundation, which was really light. But they've actually discontinued it, and it's probably the saddest thing. I've searched high and low for this foundation, and it's gone. And I hadn't found one that I would was like, that's my foundation, if you know what I mean. If I'm going out, I'll put on the Luminous Silk. Is it Luminous Silk?
Yeah, the Armani. Yeah.
They're all here, actually. Let me just grab my makeup bag. I can actually see what's at the side of me.
And what? So have you found a replacement to
I
the?
have, kind of. So I wear minimal. So that's if I'm going out, I will put on a bit more of this, the Armani Luminous Silk. I have
Yeah.
been using the Hourglass
Okay. Is that tinted moisturizer?
Hydrating Skin Tint.
Oh, nice.
A little bit similar. Um, I only wear minimal. Like I said, I only put it around my T-zone. I'm not someone who ever puts foundation on my cheeks.
Yeah, and it feels heavy, and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah, it does. The only time I've ever had my makeup done and never gone, can I do, was when I was on Strictly. I remember turning around and saying to the costume and the makeup team, do whatever you want. I want every week to look completely different. I don't want to look like me through the whole thing. If one week is rocky, give me that smoky eye. The only thing I didn't want was a big quiff. And I had it on week one, which was great. After that, I was like, please don't do that to me again. I've got a big forehead.
And but they you liked how they did your makeup on that.
They're amazing. That whole team is unreal. I've never known a team like it. Their hair and makeup team is Lisa Armstrong's team is something else. Um, yeah, they're a fantastic, fantastic place. But that's the only time I've ever had heavy makeup on. You had to because I was sweating.
But you kind of liked it. It sort of it worked for the purposes you needed
Oh,
it.
yeah. Every week I remember being like, people being like, you need to just go a little bit fuller out on your dances. I was like, you wait till I've got my costume and makeup on, I will be pow. And I was every time they give me my character, I came to life. So yeah.
The actress came out because also thinking, you've been doing a lot of exercise. Talk to me about you. You said that you're feeling in the best shape ever, and what exercise have you been doing?
So I do a lot of running. I don't know where it came from. In fact, I think I kind of do. I did a couple of little so I go to a gym that's a female only gym, and it's the best thing I've ever found. This gym, the community, everything about it is fantastic. It's called Studio NRF in Middleton, and the owner Nicole is so good at putting a kind of a lot of her time and effort into the community of it. She puts a lot of events on and I started doing the classes and the boot camp and got really strong really quickly.
Mm.
I felt like I was getting a bit hench, so I started doing a bit. Yeah, I got a bit muscly. So I started doing a bit of running. They had these run clubs on a Sunday where they'd just go and do like a 5K round Heaton Park, and I did a couple of them and thought, oh, I can run quite quick, me. This is a bit mad. And then all of a sudden, I did a 10K in March and that was it. That started the medal collection. And I've done 12 races now, since March and I've done a half marathon and I did a metric marathon on Sunday. So that's
What's a
26.
metric marathon?
It's where they flip the metric of a marathon. So instead of 26.2 miles, you do 26.2K. So
Ah, okay.
it was far. It's like 16 miles.
It was two
But
days ago you did that.
Yeah, on Sunday. Yeah, my toenails are like gone.
Gosh. I've done marathons and stuff, and it used to be almost like my therapy, running and exercise. And it's like literally, I'm doing more strength training now, but I used to do loads of running. And there's something when you're doing it, you're a bit like, oh, why am I doing this? But actually, that feeling when you're near the end and you've finished, and it just that sense of I've done that is amazing.
There's nothing better. Like when you're so close to the end, you think, what am I doing? And then as soon as you finish, like you said, you think, right, when's the next one? And I always love it because I get home and obviously everything's hurting, but I have a shower and I always feel like I'm glowing. I always
Mm.
feel like I'm absolutely glowing. My skin is glowing. My skin's the best it's ever been since I started running. And I just think it's because I'm sweating everything out. And I think you're getting your circulation going. And I do. I come home and I have a shower and I always think, gosh, I look really fresh to say I've
Yeah.
just ran all that way. So I think just in myself in general, it's just been so much better for me. My whole being and my health and everything. It's changed my lifestyle. I don't really drink that often anymore. And I am a lot healthier than I used to be. And I just think it's because I take care of myself now.
I think exercise is the most phenomenal thing for your mental health and your perception of yourself. And I set up a makeup brand so that women, because I saw so many women being put off exercise by how they looked, and it's products that work when you're exercising. So
Mhm.
very light, breathable, sweat-proof, waterproof mascaras and stuff. Because it's like I know how amazing one can feel, and others when they exercise, and it's like how do you give women that confidence? Teens stop exercising, girls when they're early teens. As we get older, women are, it's just giving you an extra thing to go, right, nothing's going to put me off exercising. So if I've got a mascara that can work for a half marathon and the picture's nice, like it's that nice little, there is that little thing, isn't there, of just that
Of
feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think I did, get quite self-conscious at first about my vitiligo in the gym with my gym clothes on because obviously wearing sports bras and I was wearing longer t-shirts at first and when I was in a regular gym. And then I kind of went into this women's only gym and it was the best thing I did because nobody looked twice at you. Like, the amount of times I've gone, "Oh, I've not shaved my armpits whilst I'm doing push presses, but everyone's in the same boat. Like, forgot to shave my legs today, but it doesn't matter. Everyone in here has got hairy legs as well. Like, it gave me that confidence in the gym because women don't tend to really compare themselves to other women when they're all just women together. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I feel like there's no comparison going on in my gym. Everybody's very like, oh my God, I love your outfit. Where's it from? Or, oh, well, go on, we're all cheering each other on when a woman's lifting the heaviest she's ever lifted. And you don't get that in a normal gym, I don't feel. I think women do look at other women and they are going looking quite dressed up and glam. And yeah, I feel like I don't get judged there, and I love that about that. And I do think I'd probably feel quite self-conscious if I was in a regular gym, and you know, I shouldn't feel
Yeah.
self-conscious, but you do. So
Well, it's become such a social thing now, hasn't it? It's so
yeah.
much more sort of social. And talking about sort of social things and fun stuff coming up, you are going to be in Panto this year, and it's Cinderella. Tell me about it. Who are you going to be? What can we expect to see?
Yeah, so it's my first ever panto. I don't know what it was this year. I've always been like, oh no, when I get asked, I just didn't ever really want to do one. But this year, I just thought, do you know what? This has been such a crazy year this year. I've had, obviously, we're talking about my salon, which will come up and stuff. But
Mhm.
I feel like a lot happened this year, and I just thought, I really think I should push myself even more and just go and do something brand new. Um, so yeah, I'm playing Cinderella at Norwich Theatre in Norwich. I'll be there end of November all the way through to January, so it's a long time away from home and my little dog. But we'll be fine. I'm sure he'll come down and visit me. Um, but yeah, I think
I love Panto. It's the
I
best.
know
I
it's
love
gonna be
makeup and
fun.
pantos, and I literally my everyone's just jolly and it's just full of happiness.
I think I did Rocky Horror a long time ago, and that was such a great job, and I had such good fun being on stage and just being silly and having a good time. And I always think back to that job because I enjoyed it so much, and I thought the closest I feel like I could get to that in any other job is by doing a pantomime. So yeah, I just thought I'm gonna end the year with a bit of fun, happy because it's been a very tough year this year, and I thought it would be nice to go and just make other people smile. And yeah, I think my family are looking forward to it as well. They've been asking me to do one for a very long time.
Or we'll make sure there's links and stuff so people can look to book because
Yeah.
they are the best fun. And are you having to, because you've got your nail salon,
Mhm.
tell me about your nail salon. Are you going to have to close it during when you're, when you're doing the panto?
Yeah, so nails is a funny one, really. I actually started nails as a hobby in 2021 when I came back from Serbia filming The Outpost for the CW. So I'd just come off a huge job. I was, it was just something to keep myself busy because obviously lockdown had hit and the work had gone quiet for everybody. Nothing was back in production yet. Um, and it just snowballed into this full-time thing where everybody wanted to get the nails done. And I was like, oh, well, if I'm not doing anything today, might as well work all day. Um, so yeah, I think I started doing that and then I got my own studio, which was great because I could just go in and out when I wanted. And then it burnt down this year. The building that my studio was in had a really horrific fire, and everybody in there, all the beauty businesses that were in there, everybody in there lost their everything. I didn't even have a nail file at home. Um, so we had to start again. So I decided again, me being me and the way I am, let's just go for it. Let's just absolutely
So,
go for it. What have I got to lose? I might as well try. And then my goal was always to open a salon so I can step back and have people cover for me if I needed to go off filming or like this week I've got a voiceover, so I might have to go and, move my clients to somebody else, or I wasn't able to do that when I just worked on my own. So now I've got it all set up. I opened my own salon called the Cloud Beauty Salon and Academy, in Haywood, and I've got girls in there who are fantastic. So when I go away at Christmas, they're all covering for me. So all my clients, they all understand. Clients come to me knowing it's me, and they know that I'm, have to fly off here, there, and everywhere. Um, but yeah, I've got two little nail
what a
techs.
wonderful, what a wonderful thing to do because it's such a lovely community. Because whenever I've just started having my nails done, which I don't always do, and you just have such a good chat. There's such a lovely, it's like, a women's only gym. There's something about that women interaction where because you can see the face of the person rather than your hair being done, there's something you interact more.
And we hold your hand for an hour and a half, and it's genuine. And it sounds really silly, but when you say it like that, people go, "Oh God, yeah, you do." We actually hold your hand for an hour and a half. I've had ladies who sit down, and as soon as they hand me the hand, they just burst into tears, or they're excited, or they're shaking. I can feel your emotions through your hand, and like sometimes, we can just stop and I'll just have hold your hand and go, "Are you okay?" And you don't get that anywhere else. It's forcing you to have physical contact with somebody in a lovely way because you are close with each other and you kind of shut off from everybody else and just have your own little conversation. And it's beautiful. I love my job. It can be quite hard sometimes when I get home and I'm like, that was a heavy day. But sometimes at the same time, I know that I've helped other people, and that's all. That's the whole reason I got into it
They
was,
ask about you. Do they ask about your? Do they ask about
oh
your
God, yeah.
TV? Are they quite nosy? Like, oh, who did you like and who didn't in the on the TV and stuff?
Do you know what? I think when they're new, I do get that kind of them sort of questions. I think people do book, and I've had lots of nervous people coming and been like, "Oh, I'm just dead nervous." I'm like, "What for?" Like after 10 minutes, you'll just realize I'm just like you. Um, I think a lot of my clients I've done for like 4 years now. They know me very well, and I would say I said this to somebody the other day. This is the first time in my life I think I've figured out or I'm figuring out who Georgia is as a person, not Georgia May Foote as an actress, as who I have to be around other people who, sometimes I do find myself performing or being, the person in the room like this. And I think when you're sat one on one with somebody all day, every day, and they ask you about you,
Mm.
I've started to realize who I am as a person. Nails has been fantastic for that. It's made me realize who this person is inside, not the person who's on the television.
Well,
Um,
Georgia, it has been lovely getting to know you, and you've just got this beautiful, sparkling way about you. And if I'm ever in the area, I'm going to come and have my nails done.
oh, anytime.
So, massive thank you to Georgia May Foote. You can see her in Cinderella at the Norwich Theatre by visiting www.norwichtheatre.org. And for more information on Georgia's nail salon, visit at thecloud.salon and at GMF Nails on Instagram. That's it for True Reflections this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. You can find me across your social media by searching at True Reflections Podcast. I'll be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, their favourite products, and delve deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearance, but also the core of our identities. Have a lovely week.